All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Today is October 25th, 2024. And as promised, I told you guys that I would look for the occult symbolism behind the McDonald's Golden Arches logo. That's what we're going to get in today. I think I figured it out. I'm going to show you this here, and then we're going to get into some other topics as well today. The double arches. What are you looking at on your screen here? Well, this is the Theban witches alphabet. And as you can see here, the letter D looks like the golden arches. Now, why are we talking about this? Well, the witches' Theban alphabet was used by the ancient MAGA cult. Now, everybody knows what the MAGA cult is. The witches, but nobody connected this to McDonald's and the secret witches alphabet. Now I'm going to show you proof of all this that suggests that the Golden Arches logo originated out of this alphabet. I'm going to show you all the connections: McDonald's, the clowns, the magician card, tarot card, magic tricks. All of it is connected to the MAGA cult. Now, just so you know, I searched and searched. I went through thousands of occult symbols on the internet. I spent a whole hour on it, just looking to see if I could find anything that resembled the Golden Arches. So this isn't just a cherry pick. This is the only one, because none of the other symbols really came close. But once I identified the Theban alphabet, the confirmation was that it was actually used by the MAGA magicians, which of course is Donald Trump's namesake, Make America Great Again. Now, before we break all this down, we need to have a talk. You know, a favorite slur that I see in the comments from fast asleep people who aren't really paying attention to what we're saying is that I have TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. And the reason why I say they must not really be paying attention is because everything that I show you challenges the entire political system, not just Trump. There just happens to be 10 times the symbolism behind Trump than any other president I've covered. We did a lot of videos on Barack Obama when he was president, probably just as many as with Trump. We had to pull most of those down because YouTube was going through and taking down channels critical of anything. So those were removed. I've got them on a hard drive somewhere for those that are really interested in how much we covered Obama. So why is there so much symbolism behind Trump that we're seeing in animations, films? We've covered many of the cameos that he's done as well. Why so much symbolism? Well, the fact that there is so much symbolism should give anybody who's paying attention pause. So, I have a confession. I do have derangement syndrome, but it isn't Trump derangement syndrome. It's Christ derangement syndrome. And that kind of derangement I can be very proud of, can't I? Because until Christ's kingdom comes, men will fail over and over and over again. Now, I knew when I started down this road, it wouldn't be a popular message, challenging the very underpinnings of America's role in the world, challenging the political establishment. It's literally like swimming against the tide. It's literally a one at a time waking people up, person by person, because the indoctrination starts from infancy, doesn't it? And very few people see the forest from the trees. Now, what else damaged the truth was the Q movement. They really did a number on people's minds, didn't they? What did Q do? Well, Q reignited people's trust in government. You guys don't have timnesia. Before Q, everyone in the truth community understood that there was a well-established political glass ceiling. where people's allegiances were sworn long before even getting on a ballot or being talked about in the news. Before Q, people knew that democracy was set up as a slave system run by Freemasons and the devil himself. We knew all this. We knew that Hollywood was evil and that nobody that we read about or see on TV represents us. We are the slave class. But now the lines have been completely blurred, with people believing in Trump, who is aligned now with Elon Musk, who just last Halloween wore this. And so I get Christians that come on here and tell me I have Trump derangement syndrome, when Elon Musk wears an inverted cross with the Baphomet on his chest, who's now buddies with Trump. Sometimes I wonder what kind of reality we're living in. Elon Musk wants to develop artificial intelligence. We know that that's evil. We know that's the icing on the cake of the slave system. So why is our message not popular if people already know all of this? Now, I could understand if I was asking you to choose a side, right? Like if I was on here saying, you guys, maybe you should choose the Democrats. I could totally understand why someone would be upset with me about that, but that's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to write in Jesus Christ in the ballot so that his kingdom can come. Let his kingdom come. Because as long as we keep voting for the necessary evils, maybe that's why he hasn't come back yet. Another slur that I see in the comment section. People mad at me because I said, let's come back in 4 years and see where we're at. I'm unsubscribing. We don't have 4 years left. And you know that. Why would you tell people that? Or the rapture people come on and say, we're going to be raptured before 4 years. You have no idea what you're talking about. No. The Bible doesn't say that. It says that all this is going to happen like a thief in the night, completely unexpected. And let me remind you, we've been on here for 4 cycles of 4 years, haven't we? We've been on here since 2012. In 2012, people were mad at me. You have no idea. We don't have another year left. And then 2016, you have no idea. We don't have another year left. 2018, you have no idea. We don't have another year left. And on and on and on. So don't get mad at me. I'm just the messenger, you guys. We're trying to feel our way through all this because there are no solid answers. And according to yesterday's show, I showed you that we've been on the right track, trying to warn God's people. I don't know if other shows do retrospective videos of things that they talked about before they happened, but we try to do that. And it's not to brag. It's to show you we're on the right track for those paying attention. And for those of you that are paying attention, who tune in, who try to tune in daily, you're getting a benefit from this because you're steering clear of these things. I don't know about you guys, but we knew for a fact when the COVID pandemic hit, we already knew it was coming. And we already knew what to do about it, didn't we? And we stood our ground. Now, if you don't know what we're talking about here, tune into yesterday's show, and I showed you videos from 2016 warning about a coming pandemic, warning about what Trump would do, which he did and is going to do in his next term. He will get reelected, for those that are angry about me exposing him. So don't worry about that. You'll get your wish, but be careful what you wish for. Now let's break down the Golden Arches MAGA cult. Ronald McDonald was a MAGA magician. And the Golden Arches are his secret alphabet. Now, the other day, we took a close look at the vintage Ronald McDonald's commercials, going back all the way to the beginnings. 1960s is when they started. And early on, in some of those early McDonald's ads, Ronald McDonald was a magician. He used alchemy to make food appear out of thin air, didn't he? And at first glance, it seemed like innocent marketing, didn't it? That is, until you consider the strange synchronicity surrounding the golden arch's shape. Let's take a look and read some of these Wikipedia articles. This is the Theban alphabet used by Magus. Here it is right here. What is Magus? Well, let me show you. It is also known as the Honorarian alphabet or the runes of Honorius, after the legendary Magus. Zoroastrianism. Who is Magus? Well, let's click on the link here. Magus, aka Magi, aka MAGA. And there you can see it in black and white. And if you don't think Make America Great Again has anything to do with this, you're probably on the wrong channel. This has already been well exposed. MAGA Magicians. Now, this goes a couple levels deeper. Let's back up though. The Theban alphabet used by the MAGA Magicians. Magus, they call them here, and that translates to MAGA. There wasn't a lot to read here other than this was a very secretive alphabet. Theban letters only exist in a single case. It says here, some users of those later charts transliterate W using the Theban characters for VV, parallel to how the English letter developed. I think we got our VW question solved, didn't we? Remember the VW that appeared in the movie trailer? The VW bus? So, the Book of Shadows, Wicca, witchcraft. I want to firmly establish this here. Okay? Because these are the foundations of our country, you guys. Now, if you think this is all a little bit stretchy, keep watching. Because they link the MAGA cult to Mithra. They worshipped Mithra. Now, for those paying attention who are scholars on this channel, I guess we can call you guys, because some of you are all over this stuff. We already covered Mithra, didn't we? Let me be clear. The MAGA worshipped Mithra. Mithraism is the knockoff Christianity that they claim predated Christ. Mithra. Now, why do they say Mithraism predated Christ? Well, because Mithraism has almost the same story. It's a very similar story to the Christ story, except the people that worship Mithra say that this came before. It came before. Look, it says here, the statue of the sun god Mithra. Now, when did we go into depth into Mithraism? Well, there was a TV series called Raised by Wolves. And I highly recommend this TV series because it's got a lot of symbolism in it that helps you understand how America works. We are the false Christ religion. This isn't true because it's tainted with the lies. Our political system are false Christians. We already know this in our hearts. but we continue to give it a pass, don't we? Because we want to believe. We know that these political leaders aren't real Christians. We know this. Now, in Raised by Wolves, they actually worship Mithra. They actually spell it out in the series. They call him Soul. Now, Soul is obviously the acronym for Statue of Liberty. Sol is also Sol Invictus. And this is how you know that Sol is Statue of Liberty. How? Well, look at the pictures of Sol Invictus. It's Lady Liberty. You can see it right here. They have the shining sun peeking out from behind the head. This is the sun god. Now, Sol Invictus is also Apollo. This is all false Christianity. It's Babylon. This is what our country was founded on. Sol Invictus is Statue of Liberty. Apollo, it says it right here. Now, I remember one of the very first videos I ever had taken down on YouTube was a video that I posted called Merry Christmas or Sol Invictus. That was the title of the video. And I remember being shocked that they would literally take down a video that exposes that Sol Invictus is Christmas. I was shocked. Now, this was early on when YouTube was trying to figure out how they were going to censor without giving away everything, right? Because censorship is a fine line. It's something that you can only do if you do it the right way. So if you do it the wrong way, it will wake more people up, won't it? So before, in the early days of YouTube, this must have been like 2013 is when that video got pulled down. I think the reason they gave me, I don't even think they gave me a reason. They just said it was offensive or something. The title was Sol Invictus or Merry Christmas? ? Now that you understand what's going on, the MAGA cult worshipped Mithra, who is Sol Invictus, Apollo. And now you understand why Trump showed up to McDonald's and has been in McDonald's commercials. You understand now the New York connection. Trump is the archetype of American success, isn't he? Now, what you don't understand is that there's a secret formula to reach the billionaire dollar club. And that formula they do not share with the rest of us. You guys, I have a few friends that are multimillionaires, but they can't seem to figure out how to turn those 3 billion or 4 million into a billion. It's actually very, very, very difficult to do. Unless you know, and you're in the club is how to make money out of thin air. It's like they're magicians. They have their secret investments, their secret instruments, and the people at the top control how everything works. They control the winners and the losers. They don't tell you and I that because then their system would fall apart, wouldn't it? But this is what they do. Now, let me do a quick summary because that was a lot of information that I threw at you. Secret witches alphabet used by the MAGA cult who worship Sol Invictus, Statue of Liberty. It is America. MAGA. It always has been. Now, I couldn't really find a record that MAGA was like clowns. I looked and I looked because I was like, I wonder if they painted their faces white, for instance, or something like that. And, or magic tricks or something like that. But I did find this. Because remember, Ronald McDonald is a MAGA magician. This occultist right here, this guy, we're going to read a little bit about him. Astrologer, occultist. He was born in the 1860s, died in the 1940s. His name was Oswald Worth, and he made tarot cards. He was also a Freemason. It says here, Scottish Rite, Masonic Lodge, Grand Master, and his magician card was a clown. Now, we have a solid connection between magicians and clowns. Essentially what you're looking at here is Ronald McDonald. So, I looked this up, and lo and behold, because I don't like to sit around and look at tarot cards, but we expose them when we see them come up, and this magician card has a clown prominently featured on it in most tarot decks. You can't make this up. So, now we have a connection between the MAGA magicians and the clowns. So this is all starting to paint a picture, isn't it? Clowns that do magic tricks, part of a MAGA cult. We use a secret alphabet that looks like the Ronald McDonald Golden Arches. Spooky, to say the least. Wow, let's back this out so you guys can see the whole. Now, another reason why I focused on this alphabet is because most of the characters center around the M letter. As you can see here, almost all of them have the letter M, or at least half of them. The letter C, D, E, F, G, kinda, K, L, M, N, O, P. Even Q has an M on it at the end. R, S, basically all of them have something similar to the letter M. So I believe this is what they were going for when they made the golden arches. Now, let's hop off of all of that. But before we do, let's go into the chat, see if you guys have any questions or anything to add to this before we get into some headlines. I got a few headlines I want to cover today, some things of note, of importance that are going on in the world. Because Putin just teamed up with North Korea, and there are troops, thousands of North Korean troops that have gone to Russia and will likely join Russia on the Ukrainian battlefield. So we're going to read about that next, but let's go into the chat first. Wow, that is some crazy witchcraft, isn't it? All right. Good morning, everybody. What are your guys' thoughts on all this? MAGA is the highest degree of witchcraft. Thanks, Tammy. Yeah, I don't think I said that specifically, but it is. And we all know this. All right. M for marketing. Now, before we move into some of these headlines, we did a decode, oh gosh, probably 2014. We did decode on marketing. Okay. I actually have a marketing degree, Bachelor of Science marketing degree from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. And I say that because that was in my former sleep life when I was fast asleep, like most of us were at one time before I woke up to understand all this. But it's almost like God walks you through these experiences so you can understand how this world works. I did a whole video on marketing, and we looked at what marketing actually means, because we like to look at word etymology, don't we? Marketing comes from the root word mercury, M-E-R-C. In other words, marketing is marketing, and that's mercantilism. Okay. Now, why Mercury? Why would they choose Mercury as the symbol? And I'm just kind of going off the top of my head. I don't have any show notes for this. I'm going to try to explain it to you the best I can, just out of memory. Mercury is one of the morning stars. What are the morning stars? Mercury and Venus. They are the closest planets to the sun. And in the morning, you can see them. At the dawn, you can actually see them, because as the sun rises, you're looking to the sun and you'll see these two glinting objects next to the sun. That's why they're called the morning stars. Okay? Because you can see them in the morning. Now, Mercury is closest to the sun, which means that it is burnt up. Very, very hot. And the other thing is that Mercury, I believe, is the morning star associated with the devil. Okay? Because Lucifer is the morning star. So there's a direct link between marketing and the morning star. And this is how he gets us. He's developed an entire system of capitalism and consumerism that keeps you consuming things. And then they market to you. And in that marketing is deception. McDonald's, a prime example. Now I was driving around last night, drove by a McDonald's. There was nobody there. Well, Casey, why would Trump tell everyone to go to McDonald's and then there's nobody there? There's such a thing as where you can actually trade money based on a loss, seeing a stock market crash. And people, a lot of these billionaires will do this. Now, I don't know if Trump did this or not, because remember, why was there nobody at McDonald's last night? Well, because everyone's freaked out because of the E. coli announcement with the onions, right? But what they can do, so here's how it works. Let me try to, yes, thanks, David. Short selling. Let me try to explain it to you in a way that you can understand. It's called short selling. And so what they do when they're at the peak of popularity, which is, of course, Trump is right now. All eyes are on Trump. He's trending. You draw attention to something, but then you short sell it, and you don't have to move a lot around to make a lot of money. You short sell it, and it doesn't really raise any alarm bells because we don't know what his personal investments are, right? We can't see inside of his stock portfolio. The only person that would know that would be his stock investor, the person that does his stock trading for him. Short sale. And I can imagine the person that does this for Trump asking him, why would we short sell when you just went through the drive-thru and was working the fry counter? Why would you want to do that? But they're told never, ever, ever to question what they're told to do. But then they release the E. coli story, and now he made another $25 million. These are the secrets of how the powerful people in our world make money out of thin air. And that's just one example. Once they have the popularity, they can manipulate us. They manipulate us. And then they hedge against the short sale. Now, this is well known, but very few people think about it because we're all locked in this emotional battle of who's going to win the election. We don't get it, but it's completely 100% true. Dr. Savage says, Casey, check the New York Post cover for today. Oh boy, here we go. All right, let's see here. New York Post. Thanks, Dr. Savage. Cover today. Spin the wheel. Let's take a look here. Are they going to show it to us? October 25th, 2024. Oh boy, Back to the Future. No way. That's impossible. Wow. So, yesterday we covered Trump and Back to the Future. Then 6 hours ago, this is the cover. This is just shocking. It's like they're watching the channel. I know they're not, but let's take a look here. The Post endorses Donald Trump. Choice is clear to put nation on right path. Back to the future. Wow. Thanks for that, Dr. Savage. Good catch. Great catch. What are the odds of this? Now, in yesterday's show, before this cover went up, we showed you guys some clips from 2016 video that we did exposing Trump and the connections to Back to the Future, showing you his nuclear power plan that Biff actually presented in 1958. BIFCO is the name of the nuclear power plant from San Andreas in the movie Back to the Future. So this is just shocking. Now, this isn't the first time we've talked about something that happened the next day. It happens almost every day here. And this is part of the frustration of getting this information out because the track record is solid. This isn't just empty truth. Unbelievable. Thanks for that, Dr. Savage. If you guys haven't, check out his channel. Great channel. He does some of the same stuff we do, but he finds different stuff than we do. So that's cool. And he's contributed a lot over the years with his ideas and things that he's found. Wow. It's just unbelievable. All right, I'm back in the chat, you guys. So that is what's going on. Yeah, it's like every day, isn't it, you guys? Remember the MAGA-Donalds? Now, that happened before our show, but I didn't see it. God is my witness, I did not see MAGA-Donalds that he would put on the t-shirt, but apparently he did. All right, let's get into what else is going on. Russia and North Korea aligning. Of course they're going to align. This is part of the plan, right? Why wouldn't they? We've got NATO encroaching, sending more and more billions to Ukraine. We're at like 58 billion now. There's that number again. Russia's friendship with North Korea may have backfired. Now they're trying to spin this as a bad thing. They're saying, oh, now South Korea is going to send weapons. Who cares? You guys, we're talking about the powers of the world. We're talking about East versus West. We're talking about Russia aligning with China and now North Korea. This is not going to end well, and they know it's not going to end well. But yet they still keep spinning it as if, oh, nothing to worry about here. Now, you can almost bet that Russia might have struck a deal with North Korea to give nukes, like real nukes that actually work. Because all we keep hearing in the news is, oh, Kim Jong-un is just, his nukes are lame. They don't ever work. He's testing them, but he doesn't have them. And they can't go anywhere even if he does. Well, now there's no question. Because why wouldn't Russia put nukes in North Korea as part of his defense strategy? Of course they would. Of course they would. So they're basically setting all this up for World War III. Here we are in America. We don't make anything anymore. We actually buy all our stuff from China, which is now aligned with Russia. It's unbelievable how sleep people are. It's unbelievable how sleep people are. Heck, I was doing some research on Trump, on his homes that he's lived in over his life, because I was just looking. And there's actually a Wikipedia article that shows all of the homes that Trump has lived in. You ready for this? You're not even going to believe this. About half the homes that Trump owned or lived in, even from the time he grew up, were purchased by Chinese. You can look it up yourself. Trump's homes purchased by Chinese. He had a Chinese nanny. His grandchildren speak Mandarin fluently. When will people wake up? Casey, he doesn't like China. He says he doesn't. And yet China became rich during the pandemic. because everybody stayed home and they were buying all their stuff off of Amazon, which is 90% Chinese products, and Walmart, which is 90% Chinese products. So China got a boom during the pandemic, and Trump didn't do anything to stop that. So all these people are on the same side. It doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat. They're all marching us toward a world like China, a world order. And the proof is in these things that we find of all this. So here's what Putin's doing. Let's see if we can play this video. Let's refresh this. Well, let me just read this here. South Korea says North Korean troops are being trained by Russia to fight in Ukraine. The Kremlin said the cooperation between the two was within the framework of international law. Russia is worried that South Korea will send weapons to help Ukraine, a U.S. think tank says. I don't think they could really care less. The Kremlin's alliance with North Korea may have bolstered its campaign in Ukraine, but it's come at a potentially serious cost. So we're talking thousands of troops sent from North Korea into Russia is the takeaway from this story. Now, here we go again in backwards world. Here's the last story for today out of the Telegraph. Hundreds of female golfers demand the removal of transgender player Haley Davidson. I should name him David Haleyson instead of Haley Davidson. This is a man that turned into a woman who now competes in women's sports. Now, here's the big secret. The left wants everybody to be politically correct. Oh, you have to allow these people to compete. And, you know, all the people on the left, a lot of them golfers, pretend to support this until it directly influences their lives. In this case, you know, it's crazy. We live in a world now where these female golfers were upset about this, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. But because of political correctness, they all protested her playing or him playing in secret. They wouldn't even come out publicly because they were afraid to be canceled. What kind of magic is that? Now look at this picture. It's kind of funny, but it's kind of not. They got the little pink T, which I bet you this was photoshopped in there. Represents the shrinking of a certain male part, possibly. Look at this. Let's read some of this. Hundreds of female golfers have complained with the participation of Scottish-born transgender player Haley Davidson in the penultimate stage of the LPGA Tour qualifying competition. Davidson, a 31-year-old professional originally from Ayrshire, but now based in Florida, has said that the intention is to make Scotland proud by earning a card on the women's premier circuit. But after progressing through August's first stage of Q school, oh my God, this thing is loaded. Scotland Q? Seriously? Wow. I tend not to focus on the gender of people because I feel like that's a honey trap. I feel like at some point they're going to come through and make that a slur that will immediately get your channel deleted. So I don't really talk about that person's a this or this person's a that. Okay. I just think the whole thing's a trap because too many people are focused on it. It's all they care about. And that's a big red flag to me. It's kind of like how some people just couldn't stop talking about flat earth. Like it took over their whole truth identity. That's a honey trap. And it's the same thing with this. Truth should be like ubiquitous. It should be parts of everything, right? It should be looking at everything, not just focus on one specific area. But anyway, and not to say that I don't think a lot of these people are flip-flopping. I just choose not to focus on it. Now, but this article's loaded. Scotland Q school. I mean, it seems to suggest some of what people were saying in the comment section about Trump, right? Again, I don't know that. I've never seen underneath the man's pants, but this is what some people are focused on. The former player on a U.S. male college team was accused of acting unfairly, with Amy Olsen, a two-time major runner-up, railing against Davidson being allowed to compete. These women have worked too hard and too long to have to stand and watch a man compete for and take their spot, she said. Now, why are these women afraid to stand up against this? Well, it's the right-left paradigm. Because guess what? If you stand up against this, the first thing people say is, you must be a Trump supporter. You see how dangerous the right-left paradigm is? They always slap a label on you when you have a free thought about something that you know isn't fair. They firmly divided these issues into either Trump or Kamala Harris. Let's keep reading here. It is now emerged that this view was held by many in the field, with the International Women's Forum revealing that 275 of these women signed a letter to the LPGA urging Davidson's removal from the tournament. Now, why wouldn't they come out against this publicly? I just explained it to you why they wouldn't. It was a big secret. Wow. It says here, male advantage in driving estimated at 30%. So men could drive the golf ball about 30% further than women. And so this woman has obviously the clear advantage. This is the world we live in now, you guys, where we're afraid to even stand up for what's good and right in fear of having a label slapped on us. Well, we're not afraid here, are we? We say what the truth is. Unreal. Okay, I'm back in the chat. That was pretty much the last story that I had for you guys today. What are you guys' thoughts on those stories? All right. Yeah, please thumbs up the video if you haven't already. Tomorrow we'll take the day off, likely. I may do a Honey Milk Rancher video. I'll be honest, I have no footage yet collected, so it would be a race to get something done. If I can, I'll do a Honey Milk Ranch video on the backup channel. I do have a bunch of these mocker nuts that I can make mocker nut milk out of and show that to you guys. I just got so much going on right now. I tore the throttle body off of my Nissan Xterra. I think I found that the problem might be the fuel pressure regulator, which is buried, of course, in the back of the engine. So I'm trying to do some of this work myself, just so I can learn about cars. Now, I do have a main vehicle, so don't feel sorry for me, but I wanted to have a second vehicle, and the Xterra just still isn't running right. It's not running like it just did, last year. So I just been messing with that, all greasy and climbing around in the engine. So, yeah, trying to take care of some of these things before the winter hits, before the colder weather hits. Good morning. Oh, wow. I'm loving it. The McDonald's song. Yeah, the It Clown. Great catch there. Thanks, you guys. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to pop off of here. Maybe I'll go sit in the blind for a bit, see if a deer comes through. I love each and every one of you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.